Hi guys, School here. Welcome back to another bus simulator. Now I've done a little bit of grinding. I've done a few trips just to get our money up a little bit. So it's now on 433,000. And the reason I've done that is because, well, I think I mentioned in the last video, we need to get a CNG bus and I couldn't afford it because it's like 330,000 euros. It's in euros, isn't it? Yeah, euros. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go and get our first CNG bus. And what I'll have to do is give somebody the current bus that we have, which is the Lion City A37. So what we need to do is go and hire somebody so that we can get somebody to drive this. We can't assign them to drive that because, well, we could assign them to drive that, but if you look at the instructions here, it says drive the route to CNG bus and then assign at least one driver, only assign CNG buses. That's to this route. There's possibly, there are restrictions on CNG in the old town. I don't think this bit is restricted to CNG, but if we want to tick this box, we need to get a CNG bus driving around here. So for now, what I'll do is I'll stick the MAN, which I want to drive anyway. I'll stick it onto one of these routes, probably something that's more profitable. That one's bringing in 25, 26 nearly. That one's bringing in 23, 18, 9, not really good, and 42. So I'll probably put a driver on this one. Now, the only thing about this one is the amount of, let me get rid of that, is the amount of drivers you've already got on it relative to the bus level. So if we look at this one, we've got one driver on here right now, and this is the route here. So this bus stop is level 2, level 2, level 2. So the most we can put on here on Route 5 are 2 drivers. But that's fine. 2 is exactly fine because that's what we're going to get. So let's go and hire somebody else. We'll hire the best person we can, which is a 700 euro journeyman. And we'll come back to the route planner and we'll assign driver and we'll take the Lion MAN and we'll assign that person to there. So that'll bring a little bit more cash in. Then we're going to jump over to the shop and we're going to buy our first CNG bus, which is the Iveco Urban Way 12 meters, which is this thing. It says here engine type CNG Euro 6, which is great. So we'll buy that and we'll customize that. And now the skin won't fit exactly, but it fits like okay-ish, but you can see it fits fine there. Down here, it starts to get somewhat chopped off. And then down here, it gets really chopped off because it wasn't built for this. It was built for the Citaro. Well, that's fine. It's better than nothing. All that remains now is for us to drive. So I'm going to take this one here. We'll drive this route, which is, it's quite a long route, this one, isn't it? We did this one before. So we're going to drive this route with the Iveco CNG. And then that will tick that box. And then what we'll do is we'll assign the CNG onto Route 6, which should then unlock this one and this one. So very, very quickly after we do this route, all 3 of these boxes should get done the following week. Now I just did week 19, so we're about to do week 20. So we'll click that, we'll click Start Drive, we'll fire on down to the end here, pick up the Iveco Urban Way, we'll do a quick start, no point reversing the route, and let's see, enable the cashier. We'll turn that off so we can get it done fairly quickly. So basically, without the cashier, it basically means start on to 2. It basically means you can just focus on the driving, which is good if you're just trying to get things done, as we are right now. Now this is the Iveco. You can see the floor is not to my taste whatsoever. This kind of weird pattern runs all the way through the Iveco. It's almost like a, how can you describe it? It's basically like a chocolate floor with a tangerine galaxy star cluster splash, and it runs all the way down the bus, and it is absolutely horrid. But then the seats are kind of zebra stripy as well, so the whole thing is not to my taste, let's put it that way. However, it drives pretty well. There is a bendy version of this that you can get later on, which drives okay. But out of the set of buses that I've driven so far, the MAN is probably my favourite. And the MAN bendy bus, I think, is the last one that you can get. What the? Last one that you can get in the whole set in the game as it stands without any mods.
See the last
Now, my question is there going to be any DLC? I assume there will be DLC, but when will the DLC come out? And will the first DLC perhaps include some buses or some maps? If I was them, I think I would focus on expanding the map, because I would have thought that a lot of people who are playing this now are either very well progressed through the current map or have probably finished. There's going to be plenty of people out there that, you know, when the game came out, they absolutely hammered it and just went all the way through the whole thing. Myself, I'm still not quite near the end, but that's because I've been doing it on YouTube videos and doing it on streams and just keeping you guys up to date. So I've not been hitting it offline, as it were. But I would like to see, you know, a roadmap. I would like to see them talk about what they're planning to do for this game. I know there's a bus going into the workshop from some mod author. I've not seen anybody talk about creating a map yet, which is that's perhaps the most interesting thing that I want to hear, is somebody's actually creating a proper third-party modded map for this thing. And by the way, I do sound a little bit nasally still because, yes, you guessed it, hay fever's still around. It's not going to go away for a few weeks, unfortunately. There's not a lot I can do about it. But this is quite a high-quality map, all things considered. Perhaps some potholes could do with removing, but other than that, it's pretty detailed and very well done, as are the buses, to be fair. But I always like to see what third-party mod authors like to do, because they tend to bring new and interesting things, like they'll put really steep slopes in there, perhaps some very narrow roads with parked cars. Like, they tend to go a little bit more crazy than the devs do, so I'm kind of hoping that we'll get some of that pretty soon. Slow down, boy. There we go. So this, ahead of us, is the start of the old town. This is the bit that runs along the bridge. And then the main bus station is, if you keep going down this road, eventually it kind of curves left, and that's where the main bus station is. And you start to get that later on. Once you start progressing through the missions, you'll have missions coming in and out of the bus station. It's about 8 lanes wide, something like that. It's quite a cool little place. Can we knock over here? Yes, we can. It's quite a cool little place to drive into. But the old town itself is just no. I absolutely hate going into the old town. And when you do go in there, you'll realise why they only allow kind of CNG buses in there, because obviously that's where there's most pedestrians. But it's also where you're more likely to have a collision, I have to say. And there's no way you ever want to take a bendy bus into that old town. It's full of one-way roads, it's full of very narrow roads, and there's some 90-degree turns that you will make that you will really struggle with a bendy bus. So you definitely want a non-articulated version. You know what, I might just, while we've got 40 seconds here, I might just very quickly do a ticket check.
Here you go.
Let's go down the left side.
Oh,
it's always the old grannies that try to get away with it. You know, the ones who should have free passes anyway? It's always the old granny.
sure.
It sits and says, oh, I thought I brought it. What about you? Look at my character. My character's basically a Twitch streamer. With his, like, dyed hair and stuff. Ramp cannot be used. What? I didn't press the ramp. There's nobody here. What are you talking about, game? I think I must have hit a key. Right. Let's get out of here. I've also noticed with the Iveco that when you activate to open the doors, the bus basically won't move. It activates a lock, which is fine. What that means is you can rely on that instead of the parking brake. You can just pull up, press open all doors, and the bus will basically slam on the anchors and it won't go anywhere. But what I have noticed is that when you close the door, the MAN... The MAN releases the bus quite quickly, so the doors close and then the MAN will go fairly quickly. The Iveco, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a design feature or a bug or it's meant to be like that from the original bus. I don't know, but the Iveco, when you close all the doors, seems to take a little bit of time before it actually lets the bus go. And in some cases, it actually is quite a bit of time. It's like seconds, and it feels like an eternity when you're trying to pull out. But that's an observation. Workers' Alley is coming up. Is this actually a bus lane? I actually don't know if this is a bus lane, but I'm gonna use it anyway. Because why not? It seems a... oh god. Maybe I won't do that again. It's possibly a cycle lane rather than a bus lane. Or maybe it's a bus and cycle lane. Either way, that truck nearly cut me up then.
Parking to perfection.
Absolutely, mate. Thank you for your compliment. Are you the parking adjudicator around here? Are you scoring?
See you.
Bye. What a friendly chap. Let's see if we can catch out an old granny.
Of course.
Of course. Here, you saw my ticket already.
All right, mate.
What?
If she'd have been fine, then I would have laughed so hard. Really. That would have been funny. Right. Let's get back in. 14 seconds to go. So, well, we should be turning right back down towards the river, alongside the river, and then making a left and crossing over to the, what's it called, Sieg? Is it called Siegfelden? Something like that. Do I drive down this? I'm going to drive down this road. I'm going to assume it's a bit of a bus line. You see that? You see how it waited before it let me go, and then it shuddered forward?
Next stop, Siegwalden.
I'm honestly going to regret doing this. You can't be a bus lane, can it? Here he goes, here he goes. I'm gonna end up with an accident, I know it. Whoa! Bro! The heck? You know what's even more curious is I don't appear to have got a fine for that. And I think the back of the bus is touching that car now. So yeah, I did say I was going to regret doing this, and I really do. I don't think that's a bus lane. I've never tried that before. Which is actually quite curious, because a lot of modern cities have bus lanes, and yet I can't see any bus lane in this modern city. If we get fined at the end, that will be strange, because it didn't actually pop up and tell me I got fined for a car crash. Normally you get like an €800 fine or something.
I'll never go on foot again. Taking the bus is just so much fun.
Taking the bus is so much fun. It really is. You get to listen to all these people talking about their latest episode of Frozen Winter, or whatever it's called. Winter of Passion. Okay, Siegwalden, there it is. Left turn. Notice how that car holds back so that we can make our turn. It's quite funny the way the AI works. It's very permissive. Now, I believe after this we turn right, go up the main centerpiece, and then we turn left. So it's not too far to go, and then we should get loads of box ticked. Let's quickly check some more tickets, because I've got nothing else to do. Hello? Have you got a ticket? You have.
Ah,
I think I've checked yours.
How often do you want to see it?
Of course.
Just twice. You know, just, check in.
Saw my ticket
Can't
already.
memorize your
How often
face.
do you want to see it?
Here you go.
So rude.
I already showed it. Here you go.
Aw.
I already showed you my
Come
ticket.
on, there must be somebody being a scumbag. What about you? Wait, hang on, aren't you the guy that marked my parking a second ago? Suppose we better get back on the bus. 7 seconds.
Just one more workday and I'm off.
That's good to hear. Look, see? Put your foot down, it revs up but doesn't release.
Next
The MAN doesn't do that.
Siegwalden, Large Street.
That goat in the last episode of Winter of Passion was a bit
What's that passenger? My advice is, if you ever hit a passenger, just abort the journey.
Stop, Siegwalden.
It's simply not worth carrying on, and it's not worth having the balance sheet completely destroyed by it.
Right on time. Is that
So if it happens, just press escape, abort mission, and do it again. Unfortunately, it does happen. It doesn't matter how careful you are, sometimes it'll just happen. I've had passengers walk into the side of my bus,
Next stop, Oak Street.
and I've been fined like €20,000. I've had passengers, as I pull into the step, basically standing too close to the edge, and I've clipped them, and they've been fined €20,000. I've had passengers that I simply didn't see as I've made a turn, just completely can't see because it's in a blind spot. So it will happen, same as you'll end up colliding with people. Now, colliding with people's not so... colliding cars isn't so bad. It's less than €1,000, which is normally acceptable. But colliding with a person is 20,000. And it's more or less gonna mean it wasn't worth doing the whole job. That's how it translates. Oh boy. Kind of expected you to carry on, bro. That's really helping both of us, isn't it? Damn me. I wish there was a way in this and in Eurotruck as well that you could communicate. If it could give you an option to sort of suggest things to a driver, like go back or turn right or move. Might actually work. I mean, sure, there's potential to troll that, but hey, it's your game, right? You can do what you like. But it's actually useful in giving the AI a bit of instruction, because frankly they can't code up every AI situation.
Well,
Wow, that bus just emptied. Bus just emptied big time. Okay, I think the old sawmill might be the last stop.
I was not made for this weather.
Next stop, Old Sawmill. Last stop.
She sounds so excited when she says that. Last stop! Please leave the bus. If you don't, your driver will throw you off.
the rerun of season 15, Winter of Passion, reveals so much about what is happening now.
They never tell us what that is, though. They just tell us it's a lot. Oh no!
Next stop.
That's such a
Old
scumbag
Sawmill.
one, that one.
Last stop. Please leave the
I think it
bus.
was here that I hit a passenger that was stood too close to the edge there. I was trying to get nice and close to the edge, and I'm sure a passenger was stood right there and just ended up clonking them. Okay, let's find out how we did. Did we get fined for the collision? No, we didn't. Got the fare dodger. Look at that! Almost 5 stars! And that's after I hit a vehicle! Makes no sense. Old Sawmill's on level 5. That's good. Right, look at that. 128 grand on that. Now we're starting to make money. Which is great. Yep, so that did indeed tick that box. So what we need to do now is... how much money we got? 230. So what we can do... We can hire a professional... Sorry, professional theme tune's coming to my head right now. We'll hire a professional. We shall assign the urban way to the professional. That now ticks off that one, which only leaves this one. It says 85% of unlocked bus stops should be on routes which generate income with drivers. And it says I'm currently on 80%. The highlighted bus stops do not generate income. That's a curious one. Let's have a look at this. Right. So that's a stop that doesn't generate income. That's on Route 4, I believe. No, it's on Route 6. So that doesn't generate income because I've only just assigned a driver to it, which is fine because it means that we are generating income. It's just the game's not realised yet. As soon as that driver completes that, it will. We are level 11. When's the next bus unlock? Let's have a look in the shop. Level 12, the next bus unlocks. So currently I don't really have a bus to drive. I'd like to buy another one. But what I think I'll do is I'll buy another Citaro K. And we'll use that to... Let's just customize that. We'll use that for the AI to use. We go back to the route planner. What was it I assigned? That driver. Was it this? I think it was this one, wasn't it? So we'll take the Lion out of there and put the Citaro in so we can keep the Lion for ourselves because it's blatantly the best bus. And the way to trigger this now is to jump into something like that and click Start Drive and pick up the MAN and just quickly drive this route. It won't take long. Do that. Quickly drive this route, which is around town. And the AI will drive the new route that we just created, and that should trigger the whole thing, And that should complete the mission. And then we'll be on to the next bit, which will be cool. Come on, get on the bus. Get on the bus. Okay, so watch this now, right? Close the doors, indicate, foot's on the floor. Look, see? You see how the MAN actually lets you move, even while the doors are mid-close?
Center, Astra.
Iveco does not allow that at all. And I don't know if it's a bug of the Iveco or a bug in the MAN. Oh god. No. Missed that one. This, what do they call this? The business park, I think it's called. This area here tends to generate very, very good money. So, as we build up more Citaros, we want to be throwing them on here. I know they're maxed out at level 11, but frankly, it brings in so much money that the other routes just cannot compete with it. However, there are objectives later that will ask us to make sure our bus stops are, for example, minimum level 5, at which point we more or less have to reassign drivers to make sure that we're leveling everything else up. But by then we'll have decent money coming in, so it won't really be a concern. Let's quickly check tickets. Hello. Hey.
Here you go.
Hey.
Where is it?
Disappointed in you lot.
Here you go.
Next time, bring a scumbag friend so I can have some extra euros. Thanks. 2 seconds, 1 second, doors closing. So I've got a bit of a routine now. When I jump in the bus, first thing I do is press the Z key. That engages the speed limiter. Second thing I do is I press the M key twice. And on the MAN, you can see right on the center console though, where it says MAN, just underneath, it's got a symbol and number 2 on it. That's the level of brake retarder. So if I press the M key,
Hey, long time no see.
change to 3,
How was your vacation
0 is
at
what it
Sunny
starts on,
Springs?
but I like 2. So when I back off the throttle,
Awesome.
it starts to slow down.
Sightseeing and shopping all day
Put it on
long.
3,
Sounds lovely.
it starts to slow down a
I
lot
think I'll
quicker.
book a vacation there
So
for
it's
next year.
just a case of putting it on whatever level you personally prefer. So yes, Z, M, M, and then often I'll press the 8 key to do that if it's daytime. Checking the junction there. And then engage it into drive and we're good to go. And that seems to work pretty well. As long as you've got a button map to open all doors. The only thing that needs to change is if you're pulling in and you notice somebody in a wheelchair. At that point, you want to be putting the parking brake on and then deploying the ramp before you open all doors, because you can't deploy it when the doors are open. Next stop, we'll check tickets, I think. I'm pretty certain we'll catch somebody out. I can feel it. I can feel like a scumbag just got on the bus.
Next stop, East Spoke.
Slow it down because technically we have to give way.
Next stop, East Spoke.
And stop. Okay, to quickly check tickets.
Hold on. Here's
I already showed you
I
my
know. Right, you two.
Hold on. I already showed you my ticket.
I felt it. I felt there was going to be like a granny trap happening there. Oh, I thought I brought it with me.
Next stop,
So not like me to try and get away with things and not pay. Ha, ha, ha.
please leave the bus.
Right, last stop. Tell you it wouldn't take long. It'd be great if maps changed over time. And what I mean by that is, like, every, like, say, every 2 weeks they go in there and just modify the map world a little bit. I put some roadworks in. You know, make the trees grow a bit or something. Cut the trees back, just replace the assets a little bit. You know, clean up some graffiti, put some more graffiti somewhere else. Just all, like, lots of little things, like 50 or 100 little things. Just get some, like, intern to do it. Some student who's working there. You want to teach them how to be a map editor, just get them to do stuff like that and then just patch it out every few weeks. And that way, when you're driving around, you actually get, like, a living world that keeps changing. Oh, swap some buildings out. I don't know. Not the big ones, obviously, but like little stuff to put something under construction. Kind of cool. It's a speed bump. That was my bad. Okay, don't care about that. 136. So look at that. Bank coffers are all the way up. And now, boom! Now we just wait and the next bit of dialogue will kick off. But we'll do that in the next video. Take care, guys. Happy bussing.